Hello, hello, hello.
You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers, my partner and co-chief in crime himself, live in living color, Mike the Man Coy.
I like cake.
Isn't there a song that says I like cake?
I like beer.
You wouldn't know.
That's the song. I like cake.
I like cake. Cake is the song. There's got to be some cake song.
I like donuts.
I look
Donuts.
like a donut.
Donuts is an excuse to have cake for breakfast.
Eggs, flour,
Yeah,
whole wheat. Yeah,
I like cake.
I'm totally into that. You get to hang out with us for a whole hour. Oh, look at that, Mike. Mike, look at that shirt. Rodney Rogers Outdoors. If you want your Rodney Rogers Outdoors shirt, look how cool that is. We'll throw a red. Look at that redfish on it.
It's a radio show, Rodney.
Oh yeah.
Those watching are the privileged.
Yes. Those listening, trust me, it looks awesome. You can go. You can hit us at info@rodneyrogersoutdoors.com. We'll hook you up on one of these shirts. There it comes with a price. You get to hang out with us for a whole hour, where we talk about all kind of stuff in this 1 hour. UFOs, everything. I saw a UFO,
You did?
or well, trick me. This is our vacation. Mike, how was your weekend?
It's all right. What'd we do?
We got.
Oh,
to do
you did things.
I did some things. I cheated you out of doing those things.
Yeah. What is going? Let's start this over.
Okay. Let's do it.
You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors.
Oh, you want to start that over?
No, I'm just kidding.
So you get to hang out with us for an hour. This is our vacation for the week, our 1 hour vacation we enjoy doing every single week. This is episode number, where are we at? 79?
76.
Sure?
76, yeah, positive.
Yeah, you're the one that puts them up. So, yeah.
I like cake.
Episode 76. So my weekend was pretty eventful. I learned some stuff this week. Last week on the show, we talked about new rule changes, tons of rule changes. So I got to hang out with our buddy Tony Young. I got to meet Tony Young over the weekend with the FWC. He does the Hunt Florida with the FWC, which is the Florida Wildlife Commission, and kind of went over the rule changes, the bear hunt changes. So we'll be talking about that tonight. We'll be talking about a little bit of that. We got hunt season coming up. I mean, it's still fishing season. We got questions. We got answers. We got all kind of cool stuff to talk about, Mike. All kinds.
We have
No UFOs.
Yeah, got to take the opportunity. We have in-studio guests.
The most awesome in-studio guests we've ever had.
Yep.
Can you hear them in the background?
The crowd roars. Yeah, we have my brothers Marlon and Zachary Coy is in the future Baseball Hall of Famer, right?
Yes.
Zach?
Zach Coy.
Right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on him. Did you play sports in high school?
I played everything. I played football, baseball, and I wrestled.
Did you really?
I did. I was a mean little kid.
Wow.
I did it all.
I don't know if we ever talked about that.
No, we don't.
I played freshman football. Freshman football, and I think they gave me a uniform.
Really?
Yeah.
I
don't ever remember actually having a uniform
right.
on.
I don't think I made it to the uniform, honestly.
If you look at my high school freshman yearbook and see the football picture, I think I looked like the water boy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a uniform on. I think I came late and.
Oh yeah, I totally beat you. I don't think they wanted me on the team. I was just a quick little kid. I was cornerback, and not the quarterback. For those of you that do not know football, I was the cornerback. That's the guy who tries to knock people out of the sidelines. I was just quick. So my first day of practice, they put me on. They didn't have a helmet small enough to fit me. The only one they had did not have a face mask. Yeah. They let me play. How about that? Yeah. Could not get rid of my bloody nose.
1942? What was this?
Huh?
1942.
No, this was it had to be 1984, I believe it was 83.
Oh
That was my freshman year. So yeah, I played without a face mask. The first thing I got was a bloody nose, but I would not give up, Mike. I'm persistent. They're going to make a movie one day, me playing without a mask.
That's awesome. You see on the shelf by Orange over here, this baseball.
Yeah.
Signed by none other
than me?
Zachary Coy.
No way. Oh, yeah. You jumped the gun.
Oh.
I like your thinking.
So don't get any crazy ideas on your way out of here.
I like your thinking. Man, I'm going to buy a baseball for this weekend. He's going to sign 58 of them. I see where this is going. And pictures. So we had an awesome weekend. I mean, Sunday we put some videos together.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming out this week.
Yeah, so we got some stuff coming out this week, and we don't want to bombard you with too much awesomeness at one time.
Dangerous.
You know how your brain will overload. And then pow.
So you got to hang out with Tony Young a little bit. By the way, I put a new Tony Young video on our homepage.
You did?
I did.
On our outdoor homepage?
Yep, Rodney Rogers Outdoor on homepage.
Yeah.
Waiting on Tom. It's right there.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay, yes. Because we had the Buck Fever one up there, right?
Yep.
Now we have Waiting on the Tom. Hey. Right on. That's one of my favorite videos, by the way. If you've not seen it, check it out. Go to RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. You'll see simple ballyhoo rigging. That was pretty cool. Rodney Rogers live. Oh, hey. There we are right there.
Look, it's me.
I'm just going to do this all night. You can see me if you're watching this. See, I'll talk like this, and you'll see Rodney Rogers Outdoor. Is everybody else seeing it backwards, or how do we?
Yep, it's.
I'm going to get on your side so they can see it correctly.
It's not backwards, it's just upside down.
Oh, I got you.
There you
go. So I'm going to point behind me all night.
Once again, this is a radio show.
Oh, yeah. So if you're listening on iTunes, we do a live video broadcast.
There you go. Yeah.
So how about that one? I just summed that up.
So you can tune in live. If you're listening on Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are live, and you can call us at 262-345-7763. Call us with your questions if you have something to contribute or complain about. Of course, you can call that number any time of day or night and talk directly to Rodney if you really.
Yes. Some people have taken advantage of that, Mike Coy. I just want to throw that out there. Actually, that's how I met our buddy Onyx from Texas. He came in from Texas, and his family went to Universal Studios and all that stuff. And he tells his wife, "I'm not going to Universal today. I'm going to find Rodney Rogers."
That's great.
And I thought it was very flattering. Here he comes from Texas. And instead of going to Universal, and he hangs out with me, and we go fishing, which is way better than Universal anyway. Universal don't sponsor us, do they?
Not yet.
Okay.
What do you have in the news? What's the latest?
Oh, you know what, Mike?
What's happening?
There's a couple things in the news. One of them, there was a guy. They see this great white shark, kind of floating on the beach. So what they do is they take this thing out. It's a baby great white shark. They take it out on their boat, and they swim it out into the ocean until they bring it back to life. How awesome is that? They just brought Jaws back to life.
Chatham, Massachusetts. Wasn't Massachusetts where the Jaws actually was?
I thought it was Cape Cod or something. Is that Massachusetts? I don't know my geography very well. If it ain't Florida, I don't know. Mike,
same area, same general area.
Yeah, same general area.
Neighbors.
Yeah, the northern area. And first of all, you don't get to see a baby great white shark very often. We don't know a whole lot about great white sharks, but these guys, this one just floated up, and
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and they towed it. They had it beside the boat, and they just had it breathing. Poof.
When was this?
Why do you ask me difficult?
Oh yeah.
Time questions.
See, if I ask Rodney questions outside of the headline. We're guys. We're headline guys.
I'm a headline. I'm totally headline guy.
Well, I think guys are.
And then I speculate from thereafter. I read bold. Everything else is made up.
Yeah.
This shark probably died.
Yeah.
They're probably eating this shark right now.
I'm like the wife in this relationship because I'll be like, oh, so and so had a baby. Well, was it a boy or girl? I just a baby.
No details.
What did it weigh? Just had a baby. You want to worry about what it weighs? Yeah.
So yes, they found this great white shark. You know what we ought to do, Mike? We ought to make like a fake great white shark and just throw it on the beach and see how many people try to save it.
What's wrong with you?
I just just thought it'd be fun. We video it. How many hits could we get?
Yo, that's the kind of hits you want.
Yeah, we go in the
Kinda
background.
turn you bloody.
Yeah.
So Anna Maria Island, they're asking business owners to show them to look on their surveillance footage.
Yeah, tell me about this.
Because somebody was driving their 4x4 on the beach.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they tore up some turtle nests.
Nests, yep.
And some black skimmers messed their homes up.
Now, do you know what a black skimmer is?
Only because I looked it up.
Okay.
I did after I heard.
I don't know if you remember me telling you I was on the beach one day and I see these birds, and I knew they were skimmers. I just didn't know what kind of skimmers. So here's what these black skimmers, what I'd come to find out, here's what they were doing. The male would fly out to the water, skim the water, catch a fish, bring it back up to the shore, he would just flaunt his fish. You know, he would just like do this dance, and he'd hold his fish up, you know, and then the female would go over and accept the fish, you know, and then they were mates. I watched this one female eat like 5 fish, and these guys were like flaunting their fish, doing their boogie dance. She would take their fish, and then just, you know, that was it. She was like, whatever. She'd go find another fish. See, it happens in wildlife.
Yeah.
50% of everything.
Very familiar story.
50%. But yeah, that's what they were doing. It was, and I filmed the whole courting thing.
Really?
It was actually pretty awesome. I laid down on the beach, covered myself up with sand, and just wiggled like a
Put
turtle.
music to it?
No, not yet. Yeah. So, but yeah, the skimmers were actually cool. Yeah, I did see that in the news though.
Yeah, sea turtles, their eggs and their nests are protected under state and federal law. Under state law, destroying a sea turtle nest or eggs is a third-degree felony, punishable up to $5,000 fine and or 5 years in prison. It's a serious deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And black skimmers are listed by the state as a species of special concern.
And that basically means that they're on the way to endangered if we don't take care of them. And they nest right on the beach. I mean, just literally.
Yeah, so this is Holmes Beach and Braden Beach. Police are looking out for these people and asking. There's a tip line and a hotline and a phone number you can call on.
What's that phone number? Do you have it?
I do. It's 888-404-3922. So if you know or have seen, they would. This is just stupid on people's part.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy.
Just don't be stupid.
Now, speaking of news, in the Keys, this guy sees 2 baby turtles at his dock. He wants to show his daughter, so he takes these 2 baby turtles. Now they're big as a $50, and he puts them in their fish tank. So, you know, he shows the daughter, and they kind of fall in love with the turtles. So this was like 4 months ago. So he had some friends come over, and he goes, "Hey, look at my turtles. I got some turtles, baby sea turtles." Well, they told on him. And like you said, he was charged accordingly.
What kind of turtles?
Loggerheads.
Yeah, loggerheads. I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's the loggerheads. Yeah. Did I get it right, or am I going off the headline?
No, you got
correctly?
it. Nope, you're right.
Bold. Remember, I'm the bold guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually did read that story. So yeah, that's crazy. First of all, those turtles cannot live in a fish tank. It's just not what they do. It's not.
And the loggerheads are that's what we actually saw when we went kayak fishing last night. That's the full-blown sea turtle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the big.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Huge.
Yeah, you actually bumped into him with your kayak.
I literally ran over him. I was trying to sneak up on him. I was trying to scramble to get my camera, but those kayaks, they coast really well.
They're cutting the water.
So as I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, no, and I literally ran on top of him, and he went down.
Yeah, that's a third-degree felony there. Yeah, Mike at RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. Mr.
No. Let's talk about the guy with the turtle again, quickly.
So, 2 turtles in his tank, and of course, they actually took them way offshore and released them.
Good.
Took them out, yeah, and released them.
Good.
That's the time when you put it in the water and a big fish comes up and goes.
Did you hear about the elk herd attacking a picnic family?
You know what? I didn't even get through the bold print on that one. I do want to hear. Did you read that story?
Mm-hmm.
Brush us up on it, because I did. Like, a couple young teenagers were like minor injuries.
Yeah,
or
it was a younger boy and a girl.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Go ahead and throw that out.
First of all, where do you think this happened? Here's the headline: Elk herd attacks picnicking family 2 injured.
Now you would think Yosemite or some, a huge park, and somewhere in Colorado. Was it somewhere strange?
I would have thought northern,
Right.
but it was in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but literally, they're just these elk came in and surrounded the picnic table, and this was a case of prior history of people obviously feeding the elk. So
yeah.
just like we talk about with gators or any bears,
They just get used to
they get
that.
used to it. They get used to the human interaction. So they were coming in for food, and they knew what was going on, and the family was trying to keep the picnic table in between them and the moose, but the moose kicked and bloodied the nose of a little girl, and they weren't injured badly. Matter of fact,
So they were moose or elk?
elk. Sorry,
Okay.
I said moose. Yeah,
Yeah.
elk.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
No.
Okay, check.
No. Close.
But interesting, the fact that again with these wild animals, we shouldn't feed them, we shouldn't entertain them.
No,
They're wild
no.
animals, and
No
you
matter
can
how
change, you can
simple it
alter their
seems.
behavior by doing these things.
That's exactly right. And sometimes it can seem so simple. You put a little food pile out, and the raccoons come over, and it's so pretty.
Yeah.
You're really making them dependent on this little bit of food you put out.
Yeah, if you haven't seen on the Facebook page, and we need to put this on the website because Facebook's kind of hard to go back and find things sometimes.
Yeah, it
once you
is.
post
Yeah,
them.
yeah, you're right. Because yeah.
But your video with the gator, did you see the video of Rodney with the gator coming out of the water? Literally, a couple weeks ago, Rodney's fishing,
Right.
and a gator literally comes up out of the water to him, and we believe it was this very similar situation where somebody had been
situation, yeah.
feeding him, and he thought, okay, here's an opportunity for food.
Yeah.
Let me investigate.
As I was walking up to him, he was literally walking up to me, and finally I just sat down, and at one point, and I hate myself for this. This is I should know better than this. I had turned my head and looked in the camera and said, if he starts walking up on me as a joke, let me know, Well, I turned my head, and sure enough, he was walking up on me, but my finger had hit the stop button. That part got cut out, so I thought, man, the best part, this thing walking up on me, my head turned, so. But yeah, this thing, and then he just sat there, and then I knew he was up to something because his tail was wiggling like a dog. You know what I mean? He just had the end of his tail just doing this.
It was a pretty good-sized gator, too.
Yeah, it was right at 7 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, 6.5, 7 feet. So he was in that borderline of being almost 7 feet, and I thought, man, this is, something's about, and I had my fishing pole like between, if he would have lunged, I'd have just threw my pole, put it in his mouth and, like a shark, just bonked him on the nose.
What are we talking about tonight, Rodney?
So tonight we're talking about
things?
Yeah, we
specific?
have hunting season coming up. Obviously, we're going to be talking a little bit about archery. We got an archer video out there, and so many more tips coming. We've got gator season that's approaching, sneaking up on us pretty quick. So yeah, we're going to be talking basically hunt season's here. Let's get knee deep in this thing. Let's
Okay.
talk about it.
Talk about the bears a little bit?
Oh yeah,
Bears and the bees?
We're going to be talking about bears and the new regulations for the state of Florida. The
deer hunting.
The deer hunting. We've got rules that changed,
Yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago, we mentioned briefly some of the changes that were coming up.
and it kind of looked confusing.
Yeah.
And I said, man, give
It's
me a
always
week
very
to sort
confusing.
this out. I got it sorted out. It's not that bad. So
Okay.
definitely awesome.
Good.
Learn
What
some
do
stuff.
you got time to take some questions?
Let's do it.
We'll get
Questions
an
it
early
is.
start. I got a few more tonight we can get on.
I like it.
We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
Our first question from Rob in Cuervo, Jose Cuervo, Texas, says, please explain match the hatch.
Is Jose Cuervo, Texas? Or
I added the Jose.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm like, well, that explains
I'm
everything.
embellishing a little bit
I am
here.
not going
It's my
there.
prerogative.
Match the hatch. Okay, so let's simplify it.
I like that. I got you.
I don't even know where that came from, Mike. Let's simplify it. Simple. Let's make it easy. I
Perfect.
can't even get it out. Let's make it easy. Match the hatch basically means that in the spring when you have all the eggs from the spawning of all the fish. Now, it could be all the fish. It could be bluegill, tilapia, walleye. All these fish eggs usually hatch within 2 or 3 months of each other. So if you know you live in an area with perch or bass or whatever, you want to match the hatch, meaning you don't want to put out a rubber worm when you have so much bait fish out there. So it's baby bait fish. So a bass will eat a baby bass. They're not nurturing at all. They don't come in. They're only nurturing while they're sitting on the nest. Once the eggs hatch, they disperse. Everything's fair game. They will turn around and eat everybody up. They don't mess around. So you want to match size, shape, and color as close as you can. And that's why it's called match the hatch. So if you're fishing with a live worm during the spring, your chances are a little bit lower than if you just go to artificial, or you grab a minnow, throw it on the hook, and pow. You match the hatch. That's what that means. Did I simplify that?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected that to last a while.
Yeah. So we kind of squeeze it up, and that's
okay.
really what match the hatch is. So you want to match what's out there, artificial or live bait. So
that's a straight to the point answer.
Yeah, you can't fish with a game fish. So
Jamie from Little Rock, Arkansas would like to know, how do I know what kind of fishing line to use?
That's a good question. Let's simplify that really good.
Hey, you said it right this time.
Did I?
Yeah, you didn't think about it.
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at you that time. So let's break that down, and here's what you want to do. When you're starting out fishing, you always want to just have them put monofilament line on your fishing pole. Basically, if you start out, your fishing pole will dictate what you're going to put on. So if you look at the side of your reel, it'll tell you what the maximum and what the minimum is and how much line it'll hold. You want to stay within those parameters.
Maximum, minimum, what? Width?
Maximum
thickness?
Or minimum poundage.
Poundage, okay.
Width and how many yards. So it'll say 10 pound at 0.10 or 0.35 or whatever diameter that line is. Because you can also get braided line in that same diameter, but in a heavier strength.
Okay.
So let's say
Okay.
10 pound is 0.30. You can also get braided line at 0.30. That'll be 30 pound test line, but the same thickness as 10 pound test line. So when you say, how do I know what to use? I always say, start out with monofilament. Once you start getting up, your fishing experience begins to grow, you do a little bit of research, and then you can find out what works best in your area. Because I know up north they use a lot lighter line to finesse bass out, bass and stuff like that. So follow the guidelines on the reel itself. It'll tell you right on there. It's a foolproof plan, and you can't go wrong.
Had no clue.
Yep, every reel has it.
Very good.
So there you have it.
All right, Steve from Lansing, Michigan says, "Hi, I'm Steve." Don't know what
Right
that's
on,
all
Steve.
about,
I can answer that question very easily.
I don't know what that's all about.
That was Steve.
That was Steve. Okay. Let's see. Daniel, Kissimmee, Florida, or your neighborhood, Rodney.
Right
Daniel says, water repellent paint or oil for my rod? Question mark.
Does
that make any sense to you?
Some people oil for your rod. I guess you could paint your rod with water repellent.
But they're usually fiberglass or something,
yeah,
right?
so they're
It's
waterproof.
not-
Yeah, that one I don't really get. There's probably something to it. It's a new fad.
So the answer is yes, I guess.
Both.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Get her did.
Get her did. All right. Dylan from the USA.
Come on,
There
Dylan.
you go. In my front yard, I have a small pond, which is a home to many bass. But one particular bass in there could possibly be the state record. Do you have any ideas or strategies on what to use or how to fish for this monster? This is your question, Rodney.
Here's the thing. Look, not knowing your situation, here's how I would handle that. If you could put eyes on this fish, a big fish like that is very, very territorial. So if you see this fish sitting in one spot, then put on a bait that will aggravate this fish. So basically what you can do what's called a drop shot rig. If you look on our website or Facebook, you'll see that video I did on the drop shot.
Yes.
Now what that does is that puts that bait in their face, and you leave it there, and you just twitch it until you aggravate that fish. Now here's what that fish is going to do. It's not going to necessarily eat the bait. It's going to pick the bait up in its mouth and spit it out somewhere else. So it'll pick it up, it'll try to move it somewhere else, so it'll get out of its territory. So when it picks that bait up to move, that's when you do your thing, and you set the hook, and you reel in that state record bass, and then you put it on RodneyRogersOutdoors.com.
So not necessarily thinking I'm going for a larger fish, I need to use a bigger...
No, yeah. Not necessarily. That's not always. Now that is some people have that big baits catch big fish, and they do. It lowers your chances. But in this case, if you know it's there and you're seeing it, then address it that way. But if you know it's in the lake somewhere and you're not really sure, throw on some big baits, some 12-inch worms, some big crankbait, some big baits, and see if you can't pull that thing out of there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Here's one more. It says, my brother's in town from Rockford, Illinois, and if we're going extreme kayak fishing in the Atlantic Ocean on Saturday, does he need a fishing license? Which one, how much, and where should he get it?
You can get a 3-day fishing license.
By the way, that's from Los Angeles, somebody called Snoop Dogg.
Well, Snoop Dogg. You will need a fishing license. You can get a 3-day license for like $17.50. I would highly recommend it if you're going to be doing that. And bring your snorkel and mask if you're going to be, because I would really like to see the underside of a shark when you're reeling it in. If you brought your son with you, have him jump off and snorkel down and get a really good shot at that shark.
All right.
Yeah.
So 17 some bucks?
Yeah, $17 for 3 days.
Because the other thing is, Marlon, is there's 2 fishing poles over at Mom and Dad's. Sorry, we have a personal conversation here.
Yeah.
And feel free, you and Zach, to go take those down to any of those ponds there and see if there's anything in those lakes, because Dad
definitely.
and I skunked out when we tried.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now, as out-of-state visitors,
do
they need a license to fish off of land?
Yes.
Okay, so they do.
Yes.
A Florida resident would not.
Well, a Florida resident would still need a license. They're free for saltwater. Remember, you can fish off the shore in saltwater for free, but
lakes cannot.
Lakes
Okay.
are exempt from
I'm gonna
that.
get
You
this,
have to
Rodney.
buy a license. Hang in with me,
It's only
dog.
been like 8 years, so
I
I'm
won't
a slow
let you.
learner.
You'll catch on.
Okay.
You'll catch on.
And I also got the notice that mine expired, so I need to get mine renewed
Yes,
this week
definitely.
as well.
Yeah, I did mine a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, definitely want to get that
I
renewed.
was going to do that today. Anyways, let's take a break. We've got some sponsors that need a word or two.
Let's
if you
do
don't
it.
mind.
Gnarly barley, come see why the whole world's singing. Gnarly,
What are you doing?
dude, I am writing a song for Gnarly Barley.
I see that, but first of all, I didn't realize you could sing. Second of all, why don't you just tell the people how great the Gnarly Barley is, give them the address, and move on with the show?
Dude, have you ever had their flatbread? Their jalapeno flatbread with the cream cheese on top and the chicken and the special sauce on it. Holy moly. No, wait a minute. Honestly, by the look on your face, you ain't never had that big-time Fiesta. Jalapenos, provolone cheese, tomatoes, red onions, and again, Fiesta lime.
Okay,
right?
that's it. Shut up, Trev. We're out of here.
Are you serious?
Come on, we're out of here.
Truly one of Orlando's hidden gems, the Gnarly Barley offers a contemporary selection of bites and brews, serving a mind-blowing selection of craft beers and original mouth-watering menu creations. The Gnarly Barley and its incredibly accommodating staff have created a place that really is difficult to put into words. So do yourself a huge favor and come see why people are singing the praises of the Gnarly Barley.
Oh, my goodness.
I told you that big-time Fiesta.
That is phenomenal. I totally get why you're trying to write a song for that.
Not as simple as you thought, huh?
No. Okay, check this out. Gnarly Barley.
Come see why the whole town's singing gnarly barley. That's rude.
Located at 7431 South Orange Avenue in Orlando, Florida.
With 116,000 foreclosures in the state of Florida alone as of January 2014, a quality contractor is critical to the process of returning a foreclosed house back into a home. Let me introduce you to Phillips Contracting Incorporated. They are Florida State certified and an approved REO repair vendor for both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. PCI currently provides multi-level services to realtors, banks, asset managers, and private homeowners. Although they specialize in dealing with REO property repairs, they are a design-build company.
Here at PCI, we pride ourselves on professional, high-quality work. Our clients know that we're not your typical contractor. We're proud to be reliable, trustworthy partners with you. Our repair coordinators are ready to communicate with you honestly and quickly about every aspect of your project. We're here to say yes to our clients.
Phillips Contracting services Florida from Orlando to Miami. Whether you're looking for a quote, repair updates, or just want to talk business, give them a call at 941-483-3800.
We're back and we're live for the time being. If you're listening to this show on a Saturday morning, we are not live. This is a pre-recorded show at that point. I wanted to say something real quick. When I met Tony I went to the Big Buck Expo, and that's where I met Tony. I also met a young gentleman named Peter Updike. He's an author of a book called Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. He's going to be hooking us up with a book, and I cannot wait to read it. I love books that are based on Florida, and this is a true Florida outdoorsman all his life, and this book talks a little bit about how it was hunting back in the day. You know what I mean?
Really?
When you could pull your car over the side of the road, whip your shotgun out, and quail hunt in a field, and it just was no big deal, and you just really can't do that now. So I'm really excited to get this book. Peter, if you're listening, it's absolutely awesome to meet you. Can't wait for the book, and he's going to hook our boat up, by the way. So anyway.
Did Peter have a booth set up over there with his book?
No, I actually met him.
He was just there.
Yeah, while talking to Tony.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to check this book out, just go to Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. .com.
This was a deer hunting expo?
Yeah, it's called a Big Buck Expo.
Okay.
So basically, it's all the latest and greatest equipment for outdoors: your tree stands, your bows, your seminars, and you got to meet guys from hunting shows.
But specifically designed for buck hunting, deer hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically designed for, there's a bunch of guides. It wasn't as exciting as it was last year. It was a lot smaller, but it was a cool thing to go to anyway. Yeah, so not bad at all. So, which kind of leads in plow. Here we go to what we're talking about tonight. Got to meet Tony, and he kind of went over the regulations of deer hunting.
Yeah.
So changes that had happened this year. So basically, I'm going to kind of give a brief overview. I mean, it's hard to break down without you seeing it for yourself. So basically what you're going to see is that Florida is now broke up into what's called DMUs, which is Deer Management Units. So not only do you have your sections, your ABC sections, now they're broken down into smaller sections, which is deer management units, and there are actually changes as far as antler regulations. And what you're going to see is
there a reason they broke it down to smaller units?
Here's the best part, and this is why I went, and this is the very question we asked, and here's the reason. The state of Florida actually listens to the hunters. You remember several shows back, I don't remember what episode was, I talked about filling out your questionnaires.
Yeah.
The state will send you a questionnaire and basically a survey, and they would like for you to fill it out. Well, this is the result of those surveys. FWC is listening. There's one area that actually the hunting season in the middle of the state starts 1 month later than every other hunting season because the deer in that area actually are a month behind. Vegetation, great. It's minerals in the sand. I mean, everything changes, and these deer are basically not so much late bloomers, but they're a little bit different than deer in the rest of the state. So by filling out those surveys, they actually break it up. The hunters are saying this is happening here, so we need to change that. They changed a few zones and moved them farther east and west. So basically what it is the FWC listening. We're not producing enough quality bucks. So used to be that the law was one antler on one side, 5 inches long, was a legal deer. Now, you got to look in your deer management unit that you're hunting in.
And it changes. It varies.
Yeah, because it varies now. Now, the minimum would be, 2 antlers on one side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can have 2 points on one side where it used to be just one. So basically what that does is it allows you to, you'll pass up on that, little 5-inch buck because it's a first-year deer. And once they reach a certain length, then it's this 2.5-year-old deer, and that's what you're harvesting, a little bit older deer. So what you're going to start seeing is a lot more bucks to doe ratio. So they took down the doe ratio, and they raised, the buck limit. In some areas, it's 3 points on one side and or 10-inch main beam. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So when you shoot your deer, if he's only one-sided, if he's only got horns on one side, in certain areas, it has to be at least 3 points or 10 inches long. That basically says that's the same age deer. Once a antler gets about 10.5 inches, then it's a 2.5-year-old deer. Or if it's, 3 points on one side, 2.5-year-old deer. So they're trying to stop you from shooting the 1-year-old deer because they don't have a chance to grow and or produce. So that's from the surveys. So over the next, and it's a 5-year plan, so over the next 5 years, we're going to start seeing a lot more deer, a lot better bucks. We're going to be seeing, a lot more young people killing bucks. Now, children 16 or 15 years and younger, under 16 years old, still get to hunt by the same old rules we've had for years. If they see a 5-inch buck, they can harvest it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
interesting.
So they're kind of exempt from that new rule. But over 16 and over, you got up, you're applied to the new rules. So grab the newest hunting regulation book, open it up. It'll show you the deer, this little book here. It will show you the new regulations and how the state of Florida is broken out. So we can actually, obviously, we can post that on Facebook and let people pile it up. Because you can see here, it's broke up to northwest region, central region. So let me just click on one, and you'll see how it's actually split up. And then you'll see that this area is split up, not only that, into zones. So you see like 40 zones here, each county, and then it's set up, and then you look down and see what your management area is, and then you go from there. So that's a lot of them.
A couple takeaways initially.
Yes.
Number one, participate as a hunter and fill out the forms.
Yep.
Because, like you say, they're listening, and it's you're the best they can get to real-time information on what's going on out there.
Yeah.
For them to be able to
That's exactly
manage
right.
this.
That's exactly right. They can put agents in the field. You're out there most likely hunting the same place every single year. And that's why your input matters. Because
who knows it better than you who live and stomp those grounds?
Who knows your stomping grounds better than you? And that's why it's so important.
And number two, you have to get the decoder ring.
You have to get the decoder ring.
Figure this out.
Yes.
That's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information.
And I suppose if you're just evolving with it, it's different.
That's the key.
You have to be educated.
If you've been in this game like I have for so many years, then it makes sense right away. If this is your first year hunting, the easiest way to do it is find out where you're going to hunt. So let's just say you're hunting Bull Creek Wildlife Management Area, which is now Herky Huffman Wildlife Management Area. So let's say you're going to hunt I can't even say that.
Come on, say it.
Let's say you're going to hunt Herky Huffman. I got you, Herky Huffman, and I'm coming for you. Let's say you're going to hunt the Herky Huffman Wildlife Management Area. Grab that brochure. Go to the tax. It's in your county tax office. There's a lot of places you can get it, and you can certainly download it online. You go up to the lady at the tax office and you say, I'd like the Herky Huffman Wildlife Management Area. And then that's going to break it down for you. That's going to tell you the rules for that area. Don't try to absorb the whole state.
Right. That's key. That's a great tip.
Find out where you're going to hunt and then look at the rules. Break it down. It's as simple as it gets. It's going to tell you in that brochure, right here, you can hunt this, this, and that. And here's the dates you can hunt them. Here's the size limit and the bag limit. That's it. There's no, don't call the FWC because they're going to tell you the same exact thing. Well, did you grab that brochure? Yes. Well, it's in there. I don't know it right offhand.
Right.
So they're not going to know everything. So look at it. and that's how it's going to help you. Now, if you're hunting private land, you have to grab the regulation book and look at what unit you're in. If you're in Osceola County, then you have to go by the Osceola County rules.
Yeah.
That applies to everything except management areas. That's a lot, ain't it? Still a lot.
It's good, but
Yeah.
pre-planning.
Yeah. Pre-planning.
Get the book.
That's what we've been saying. It's 2 months before hunting season. Work on it now. Don't prepare at the last minute. You're going to be very disappointed. You know, trying to find an area to hunt, trying to find a...
But if you're planning on hunting, you've already got a general idea which way you're going.
Right.
Where you want to go based on history or word of mouth or recommendations, and
that's exactly right.
You've naturally already done that kind of investigation.
If you follow us on Facebook last year, I gave you the GPS locations of 2 very great harvesting areas that I harvest deer in.
Yeah.
So I mean that'll help you along. I mean that'll take some of the guesswork out of it. You gotta put in the footwork. So that's that right there. So especially if you're archery, we put the video out on archery. We're going to be putting little 2 or 3 minute videos out. I got one going up tomorrow. This basically going to be going how to prepare for archery. Archery you have to prepare for a lot more in advance than rifle season. You put your rifle in the closet, odds are you're not doing anything to it. Bows are fine-tuned pieces of machinery.
The weather, humidity,
heat, everything takes effect on it, and it's not going to shoot out of the box the same way it did last year. So you got to prepare in advance. You got to prepare your muscles. You got to prepare. There's so much, your fletchings, those your arrows. I mean, just like the other night, I pulled my bow out of the case. My string had come off the pulley. So if I wouldn't have looked at that, and I would have pulled that string back to shoot, that string could have got wrapped around and cut, and then slapped me and broke my limbs. I mean, it's a high dollar. It's a $1,000 bow, and you go snapping things on it, it gets costly fast. It would have put me out of the season. So tomorrow's video will be just that. Inspect your bow, some things you need to look for. So look out for that video tomorrow. We'll be posting it. And the other thing, I got to breathe for a minute. The other thing we talked about is the new bear season coming up. And gosh, there's Mike.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Brilliant. So they gave us the new 2015 guide to bear hunting.
And they gave that to you because it's official.
It's official. You're hunting bears in the state of Florida.
All right.
Now, I can answer a few questions about that. There's a lot of unanswered questions back there. One main question is, do I have to fill out for a quota, or do I have to apply for a tag? The answer to that is no. You do not have to apply for a tag. Anybody, out of state or in state, that wants to buy a bear tag can do so. Period. There's no first come, first serve. They're only allowing, they want 250 bears killed, harvested, but they'll sell 8 million tags. They don't care. You want a tag, go buy it. $100 for resident and $300 for non-resident. So they'll sell 8 million tags, or 8 million licenses for bears. That's fine with them. But once their quota is met on the harvest areas, which is BMUs, B as in boy or B as in bear, management units, so there's only 3. They're only going to be hunting, 4 out of the 7.
Yeah, they probably don't have any boy management units.
Or 3, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's probably bear.
Boy,
probably
yeah. Yeah, these are bear management units that consist of several counties in these units. So if you don't already know where a bear is, you're probably not going to want to buy a hunting license for a bear because you don't know where to find them. So basically what they'll do is that they've got, the first one is the East Panhandle Bear Management Unit, the Central Bear Management Unit, and the South. And they have a number for each one. I think one of them's, here it is. They're going out of the East Panhandle, they're going to take 40 bears. From what I understand, it's probably going to go pretty quick.
So, but wait a minute. You said they're going to sell all. They'll sell as many people want to buy them, but once they meet their quota, what?
You're done. The season is guaranteed to be 2 days, from the October 24th and the October 25th.
So 40 in the Panhandle.
40 in the Panhandle.
So what? First of all, how do they know when the quota of 40's been hit?
That's the next thing I'm going to go over. So basically, I'm going to make sure it's in October. I know it's the 24th, 25th. So basically, here's what will happen. When you go bear hunting, you shoot a bear. You have to go to a station that are checking bears in. So you within 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how serious they're taking this. You do not want to be caught with a bear outside of the hunting season that's not tagged and not been gone through. I promise you, it's going to be a bad deal. So you have to be at one of these check stations, and they've got them within 30 miles of each one of these units. There's several of these. There's no excuse not getting to one. They're giving you plenty of time. If you kill a bear, you should be there within the hour. But they're giving you 12 hours from the time that you grab it off the ground.
Wow.
Not from the time you shoot it.
Sure.
So once you have it in your possession, you have 12 hours. And at that point, they're going to take hair samples for DNA. They're going to take blood samples. They're going to take, contents and teeth to age the bear. They're going to get the very back molars out, and that's going to age the bear. The bear has to be at least 100 pounds on the hoof, on the foot. It's called on the hoof. They don't have hooves. So on full bear, it has to be 100 pounds. Now, if you show up to the station, you've already gutted your bear, field dressed your bear.
What? I don't get 100 pounds on the hoof. What's that mean?
Your bear has to be at least 100 pounds.
So
that's
why
the size.
So why you don't need to say on the hoof to me?
Okay, well that's what it's called.
But why do they say that?
Because with gutsins, without field dress, your bear has to be 100 pounds. That's the size. That's the legal limit of a bear.
So the size, how much he weighed when he was still walking.
Yes.
I don't have to make him walk once he's dead.
No.
I can't get him to stand up anymore.
Right. Well, you can.
I tried. He's done.
He's done. You can put on his back.
Okay, so
that
makes sense.
Up.
So not field dressed or anything, just
not
the way
field
you
dressed,
got
100 pounds. If you show up to
that makes sense.
You field dressed your bear, and you show up to the station,
you're in trouble.
And he's 50 pounds, you're in trouble, because they estimate that the insides of a bear is 25% the weight of the bear.
So if you field dressed him, he's still 100 pounds, you're probably all right.
Yeah, you're definitely in good shape, or 75 pounds for that matter.
Yeah. Okay.
25%. So they'll be lenient a few pounds one way or the other, but not no 50 pounds.
Sorry to interrupt. I had to
That's okay.
straighten that out of my mind.
So your bear has to be, so you have to, get it there within 12 hours, and your bear has to be 100 pounds. Now, once they reach 40 bears for the Panhandle, they're done. That's closed. You got to call on the second night of the hunt. You got a 1-800 number to call. It's your responsibility, and see if that management area is still open.
Wow.
That season is still open.
Wow.
Have we harvested all the bears? No, we have one more day. So it's going to start 2 guaranteed days and could go to 7 days. So it could be a 7-day season.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to you want to be aggressive because it could close down on you.
Absolutely. And if it closes down, well, it's not going to close down before you end the 2-day hunt. You know what I mean? It's guaranteed 2 days. If they harvest more, they harvest more.
I gotcha.
That's just.
But on day 3,
they've accepted that.
Okay.
They're going to harvest more.
Okay.
Now, if 1 million hunters buy a license and they go through and kill every bear in the state of Florida, that they really didn't count on.
Bro. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So that's how that's going to go. If you have any questions and you're like, Rodney, I don't really understand this, I have a very good understanding. I can write it down for you and send it to you. Feel free to send us questions, and feel free to call the FWC. If you look on our website, you'll see FWC. Tony Young is a great reference. His number for the Tallahassee office is in there. I want to look, make sure it's the 20th. I think it's October the 24th and 25th are the dates. I had it in my head all the way up until I started talking about it. So, yes, it's October the 24th, Saturday, the 24th and the 25th. Those are the 2 guaranteed days.
Okay.
That's the hunting season. If everything's not harvested in those 2 days, they will extend it, and you'll have to call every night thereafter.
Okay, I've got one final question.
Absolutely.
Because we've talked about this coming up to when it started rumoring that this was going to happen,
Yes.
and now it's happened.
Yes.
Are you going to bear hunt?
Yes.
Throw it out there.
I will be one of those guys.
Why not? Well, because that's the
Yeah.
other thing. The other thing that we talked about from day one was, are we ready?
Yeah, that was
has,
my
has
whole
enough
thing.
thought process been put in? And even this weekend when you were talking to Tony Young, you got some more information and realizing how much scrutiny
This
and
has been
information and that they're approaching this the right way from day one.
Exactly. And that, I think that was probably, I think the FWC kind of not failed, but kind of didn't put out enough information of what here's what the people hear.
Public perception of how this went
That's
down.
it.
Yeah.
Perception is everything. Public perception is suddenly we're hearing about bears being complained about, but they've been looking at this harvest way years before this ever happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Off the cuff, the average viewer seemed like this was a reactionary result of people complaining about nuisance bears.
Exactly. And that's all it was. And being with Tony and talking to Tony and hearing things, and I actually got to speak with another young gentleman. I have his name right here in my wallet, and he's the guy that actually does the studying. I mean, he's in the field.
I believe you don't have to get out your wallet to prove it to me, Rodney.
I want to give him a shout out. I got his card like right here on the top of his name's James Stickles.
Okay. And he's with the FWC as well?
He's with the FWCs as well. So he's actually one of their biologists, one of their field biologists that goes out, and he's actually working in the Everglades now, trying to figure out why the deer population in the Everglades has declined. So they're doing a real big thing down there. So
I could save him the time.
Pythons?
And gators.
And gators. Oh, dude, the gators down there, crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I learned, I actually absorbed a lot of information this weekend. So it was definitely good for me to hear that, because having that basic knowledge of hunting all my life, I could put it all together.
Sure.
Once it came at me, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I got this. All right, that's not as difficult as I thought. So I was able to put together, and I have a complete understanding. You can get their obviously on their FWC website.
2015, what's it say? 2015 Guide to Bear Hunting
in Florida.
And that's on the FWC website?
FWC website.
Got a PDF or something?
Right, and there's no guarantee that this season will be there next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of one reason you don't want to miss it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they might not have another one for another 20 years. So, it could be this year, and then poof, not again for.
Yeah, if you're a hunter or an avid outdoorsman, it almost would be sad to miss it, because you're right.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to give it a shot. I know some areas that I've seen bears in Ocala National Forest that we're going to be hunting. I hunted years ago. So we're going to be doing a little bit of scouting. That'll be exciting for us to go do.
Yeah.
You and I will get to go do that. So, I mean, it'd be kind of cool. So,
take your tents up there, do a camping show while you're up there.
Actually, it's not a bad idea.
Remember, we've always talked about getting tips and hacks from people on camping and go out and try them.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Run
we'll have to do that pretty quick.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. The season starts in a couple months, so maybe that's something we ought to put together.
Well, normally, we've kind of blown through our quiz time, which is totally fine, because I'm excited about this whole bear thing coming down to Florida, the bear tour.
The bear tour.
The bear tour's coming.
Big Bear Tour 2015.
You are, you, my friend, are a storyteller.
Thank you.
You can go either way, right?
Yes. It scares me.
Because we used to have, remember at the end of the show when we first started, Rodney was telling stories.
Yeah.
And I love that. We need to get back to that. But I'm not going to put you on the spot now.
Thank you.
But I did dig up an archive.
Uh-oh. What'd you dig up?
An archive of a question I asked you a long time ago.
Okay.
About how, why do redfish have a spot on their tail?
Okay.
You probably even forgot all about this.
No.
But I'm going to, through the magic of technology, I'm going to share this story time with our friends on how the tail of the tail.
Awesome.
Ready?
Now, my grandmother's maiden name is High Song, which she's from the Indian tribe, North Ohio, the Kickapoo tribe, who migrated down to Florida many, many years ago. I remember my grandfather telling me stories of that was passed down to him about fish. At the time, they didn't know they were fish in the lagoons when they went down to the rivers. They often talked about things looking at them out of the water. They never knew what they were. They would go down to the river on a full moon and see calm waters, and then as the sun rose, almost an audience of eyes looking at them and waving at them, and often waving goodbye. So they often thought that as they waved goodbye, that someone in the tribe would pass, that it was that time, and then the fish would disappear. Within weeks, someone would pass. They didn't know at the time it was fish, so they relied on the full moons and the waving of the fish. They would wait, and as the full moon came, they would all go down to the rivers, and in the mornings, as the sun came up, they noticed all these eyes looking at them, an audience of people waving goodbye. So they would often think of who was next. And it seemed that whoever did not go to the water, if a group of people did not go to the water, that one of them would eventually pass. So over time, everyone would come to the water. So finally, the chief was the only one who wouldn't go to the water. On their final days, the whole tribe is at the water. The only one missing is the chief. Except on this day, as the sun rose, nothing was waving. There was no waving going on. There was no eyes, no audience. So everybody went back to the tribe, totally disappointed, and the chief pulled up in his canoe with a boat full of redfish. He was not about to have any of the audience waving him goodbye because he wasn't about to go down to the river.
What the heck was that?
That was me just...
That might be one of the worst stories I've ever heard in my life, Rodney.
Yeah, thank you, Mike Coy, for throwing that out there. I appreciate it.
I couldn't repeat that story back if I tried.
Nor could I. Thank God it's archived in...
That's just between you and me.
That's just our secret. Thank you so much, Mike Coy. What would I do without you, man? Logging memories. I love it.
I love it.
I just got a text from your wife. That was funny. She's calling it correctly. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, my gosh. So we got to hang out with the Coys.
Yeah.
We got a whole room full of Coys here.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many Coys in one place.
We're a gackling of coys.
A gackle of Coys.
But stay tuned because we're going to do some extreme kayak fishing this weekend.
We are. We're going to film it.
Somewhere. Something's going to go online somewhere with that. Videos.
We're not going to professionally film it. We're going to have fun.
You're going to have fun.
Yeah.
You might get a clip up online somewhere.
You might get a clip, but...
Especially if we get a fish on the line, you'll definitely get a clip.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And the shark, Zach's going
to get a great angle for us.
Get a great angle for us. He's the youngest, fastest swimmer, pro ball player.
Yep.
Right on. Oh, I need you to sign that ball before you go out on filming escapade. Thank you so much, Mike Coy.
Always a blast,
enjoyed
Rodney.
my vacation. Gentlemen, thanks for
Likewise.
hanging out. As my mama always said a million trillion times, and I pray the Lord I get to say it half as much. You kids get outside and stay.
What?
Outside and stay. On the outside.
What?
No, all the way outside.
I said get out! And stay out!